Hi, guys. How are you? It's Dr. Pam, owner and founder of Academic Coaching for World Changers. Just wanted to take some time this weekend. If you are wondering, I didn't have any sessions this weekend. Dr. Pam just took some time off to spend time with her family. However, of course, how to not work. So definitely thought I'd create some questions for you. I was perusing through Facebook and just kind of looking at some of the options out there. And I just want to, I don't want to call it any names. I just want to make sure very clear that when we're studying, that we are really studying with the right material. You know that Dr. Pam says all day, every day, taking test questions is not how you study. It's just not. It is just not. What happens, you take the questions over and over and over again, and you know it wasn't A, it wasn't B, it wasn't C, and now you know it's D. You do realize that the odds of that exact the same question written the exact same way on the test are slim to none. You'll see the content. It's very clear on the KSAs, the K-CREP areas, whatever test you're taking. It's very, very clear the content. But the test question is not going to be the same. And I hope you know that. If not, just so you know, stop taking questions until you learn content. Okay, so let's look at this one. And I'm gonna be very honest. I didn't write this question. I took it from a Facebook page. I believe it's Dr. Kevin was his name, and I'm not going to call it the company, but it rhymes with Dometrics. So here's the question. What does not describe reality therapy? And I was perusing through Facebook, really just kind of seeing what was out there. And this question caught my mind because it's a social work question. This is from the social work book. However, it is a question that you'll see in all of our exams, my LMFTs, my NCEs, my CPCEs. This is a very popular reality therapy. I've heard recently from my NCE, those LPC people, it's quite heavy on reality therapy. It's Glasser, by the way, and I'll tell you more about it. But first of all, we're going to read the question. Here's what usually happens to the people that don't study with us. You bought every book out there, by the way. You owned every piece of material, a blue book, a purple book, a green book, something that your friend gave you, and you have just taken all the questions, but you have yet to learn how to study. I will say it's not your fault because you're the smart kids. All of our clients have IQs that are amazing. That's why I love what I do. But you're not studying, you're taking test questions. So I'm going to go back to the question. Let's see what we can do. What does not describe reality therapy? So those not questions we all hate, don't we? Hate them, hate them, hate them. I'm going to teach you when we look at not questions, we're going to look at what three. We're going to read all three and figure out at least which one may be true. Okay, we're going to rule out the true one first. So A, the focus is to help clients change in the here and now. Perhaps I like that one. B, the major goal is to hold people accountable for their behavior and teach them better and more effective ways of getting their needs met. And C, one of the focuses of this therapy is to help clients see how issues from their past continue to influence them and need help today. Most of you will probably take a guess. This is what most often happens is I hear, oh, here and now, it probably belongs to Gestalt. So that might be the answer. Or maybe something about the past. Let's stop taking guesses and just really understand the theory. Narrative therapy is by Glasser. Glasser says that we all are born with these basic needs, that we're born with them. It's not my fault. I'm born with it. We all need love and belonging. When you spent the holidays, hopefully with some people that you liked, or maybe you spent some time with people that you didn't like, and then you went out to hang out with people that you really liked, right? Especially if you have a teenager and they did the compulsory time with mom and dad, and then they went and hung out with their friends. They have a need for love and belonging. Power. We all have a need for power, whether it's something at work, whether it's to pay my own bills, whether it's just to be able to make my own decisions. Glasser says we all are born with that need. We all need fun. You know, Dr. Pam, sometimes my it does. Okay. Anyway, survival. We all need survival. It's cold outside, right? I need warmth. I need a place to live. I need all of those things. I need to be loved. Yes, love and belonging, but I also know that research says as I get older, the reason that people live longer is because they have something that needs them. I have two Shih Tzus. I don't have grandkids yet. I'm 60 and I'm currently not married. So I have two dogs that need me. And I know that as long as they need me, research says I'll come home. So whether it's plants, whether whatever it is, that's a need for survival and freedom. We all need freedom. Now, he did not raise this therapy for children. He did not. Okay. So, you know what? When my kids are little, we're not going to talk about, their need for power. I'm the mother. I'm the father. I'm going to set the rules. No, 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 no. I'm the mama. These are for adults. It's also considered a control or choice theory. If you look back, existentialism is also in that category. They're considered both control or choices. That means I have a control over my behavior and I choose what I do. One of the coolest things about Glasser is he says, girl, own up. You just did it. If I decide that I'm going to get love and belonging from my friend's husband, and she shoots me, she beats me up. I can't, but when I was 3, my daddy didn't love me, and I was molested when I was 6. Well, that may be true. Glasser said, and WTF? What? You did it. You did it. You did it. You did it. I'm going to say something that I hope touches feelings. One of the things that we really try to do when we teach is not to help you just memorize, but to really touch feelings. Thanksgiving, this is something that I've seen in my own life, not this year, but in other things in the past. Power. In a family event many years ago, one of my children, we were invited to a family's dinner, and one of my children deviled eggs. So I make great deviled eggs, and as she got older, I had all my children in the kitchen. It's a great way to teach them measuring and all that great things. She made the deviled eggs, right? And again, I supervised. She was in the kitchen. My kids are great cooks, all of them. So we go to the family event, and we're a little bit late, but we're Black people, so it wasn't that big of a deal. And plates are set, and people are making food, and things are out, and we're having a great time. And as we leave, my daughter is probably about 12 or 13. The adult gives my child the plate of deviled eggs and says, take these back home. We don't need them. That's power. That's power. That's power. She wanted to make sure that everybody knew that she was in control, and what was going to be served was on her menu. Now, we had asked. I would never bring anything without asking, ever. I'm a Southern girl. We always say, what can I bring? What can I bring? So the conversation happened, what can we bring? And my daughter wanted to bring that. I asked, no big deal. As a mother, you can only imagine how that hurt. And again, I'm touching feelings, purposeful, so you learn not just to memorize these theories, but you understand where they came from, and especially reality therapy. So this was a power on that adult's part. Okay. And I don't care if she had a rough life. I don't care. This is the first time she could find to make. I don't care. I could care less. And reality therapy could care less too. You use that power in the wrong way. Take ownership for what you did. Own it. Suck it up. Okay, I did not confront the adult. It wasn't my family, but that's what it looks like. If you experience something like that in the future, or you're the one who did that, recognize that reality therapy says, nope, you were wrong, and suck it up. So what he says, what I'm looking for is responsibility. When it comes to my choices, how I get my needs met, I'm responsible for the choices. There's no other blaming. Not at all. Not at all. If it didn't fit your menu plan, then you could have said, don't bring anything. Hell, you could have thrown them away. The kid would have never known. But instead, you chose to exert your power. And so when the people don't want to come back for the following Thanksgiving, and you don't know why, just saying, Glasser says you own it. Take responsibility for what you did. Fun. So if I decide to get my fun when I'm in high school, or at the end of high school, and all of my friends are going to college and they're doing this, and I decide at 18, I'm going to go hang out, I'm going to party, I'm going to work at McDonald's, ooh. And now it's 10 years later, and all of my friends have great jobs and they've got families and babies, and I'm still working at the McDonald's. I can't be mad at them. I made that choice. But your family had money and you had no buts, no buts, no buts, no buts. You made the choice. Again, you don't get an opinion on any of the therapies. You just understand what they say. So as you're taking the test, we don't care if you like narrative therapy. No one does it. Nowhere does it say, how does Dr. Pam feel about narrative therapy? You just have to know the therapy. One of the other things that you'll see is Wabalding. He's the WDEP, and that is part of narrative therapy. So it's written by Wabalding, but it's considered a way that we practice reality therapy. So what we're looking for is what the client wants, what's the client doing. We're going to evaluate the client's plan, and then we're going to also then help the client plan. So WDEP. So when I see a question, again, these are keywords that I'm looking for: choice therapy, control therapy, responsibility. Glasser said that an honest man is a genuine man. We take ownership for what we do. And then as we're working with the clients, we're going to look at their personal goals, their relationship needs, what the client is doing. We're going to evaluate their current plan, and then we're going to help them plan. So if I go back and look at the question based on now understanding the theory, I may realize this is probably not one of the best questions I've read. Just going to put it out there. Probably not a test question that you would see because they're not such great answers. So A is to help the client focus. So I'm talking about what I would do for sure. Okay. So I would do B. That's definitely something that I would do. Okay. So B is not my answer. So now between A and C, I get down to 2, right? Oh, we hate that. We get down to 2. I don't know what to do next. So now I have to decide which one is true and which one is not true. This is also based on that I only get 4 choices, whether I agree or not. So my best answer for this question would be C. Okay. So many of us have taught the here and now belongs to Gestalt, but in truth being, Glasser did talk about in the moment. So not necessarily here and now, but he did talk about present time. He didn't really care about what happened in your childhood or how you got here. So the best answer to that question is C. So if you're using a study guide that doesn't help you explain why it's the right answer, you're probably not using the right study guide. If you're just taking questions, you're probably wasting your time. So we're always going to suggest that you follow up with us. Remember, you can find us. Our link will be below. We are the only company that does what we do. We tutor to all the mental health exams. We are experts. Our company's over 10 years old, and we're the only company that does what we do. We're modeled off the content of like Mathnasium. They're all across the country, and all they teach is different areas of math. And that's what we do. We teach different areas of the test. Everyone on my staff is licensed. Everyone on my staff has been in your seat. They've come through our program by learning our unique and amazing test taking technique. We have a 96% passing rate for a reason. It's research-based. It's based on learning your neurotransmitters and how you work. It's also working on increasing your vocabulary. Because a lot of the times what I find is it's not the clinical words that you don't understand, it's the everyday language that you're struggling with. Let me show you what a real reality therapy question might look like, okay? Or a better one for the test. So I have 4 screens. I'm trying to get back over to this one. Gonna make it bigger for you because I live on old people font. Okay, so again, this test is the same answer for all of the mental health tests that I tutor. Exact same answer. So whether you're LM and LC, this would not be a BSW question. I'm not going to pretend. You might see this also though on my drug and alcohol, my LMFT, my psychologist. This theory is a very common theory. Okay. So a man says he wants to repair his marriage, but refuses to communicate with his partner. What should the clinician do next? Okay. Now, here's what many times happens. I told you this was a reality therapy question. So you know that. If it didn't say that, many times now you're going to go to your own means, right? So, and this one is one that I really put in under reality therapy. So I do know that. Okay. I'll show you another one where it's a little bit different. So let's go over all of these. Okay, you're going to read all four, always, always, always. And many times some test questions only have three. Either way, we're going to rule out one. Okay. One, help him assess if his behavior supports his goal. Two, explore past relational wounds. C, conduct a communication skills assessment. Or D, identify unconscious fears. I'm going to change this. I'm going to add according to Glasser. That's going to give you a better answer, a better test question. I do apologize for that. I was talking about somebody else's test question, and I picked one that wasn't great. Okay, let's try that again. So, according to Glasser, a man who wants to repair his marriage but refuses to communicate with his partner, what should the clinician do next? And no matter what test you're taking, I'm always going to say, what would the clinician do first? That's how we think. That's how we think. We're always going to assess if possible, unless it says clearly intervene. And that's the same way for no matter what test you're taking. Okay, so then our four choices are help him assess if his behavior supports his goal. B, explore past relational wounds. C, conduct a communication skills assessment. Or D, identify unconscious fears. So again, at this point, I'm thinking of reality therapy. I'm on the test, Dr. Pam, and I'm thinking of all those things because I watched your video 15 times, Dr. Pam. I know exactly what reality therapy is. By the way, that's how you pass. So I'm going to take out D because I know anything unconscious is not going to belong to reality therapy. He said that's BS. You take ownership for your stuff. No unconscious. That's Freud. Okay. Explore past relational wounds. No, you are in control of your behaviors. I'm sorry, some bad stuff happened to you, but maybe reality therapy is not the one that you need to use. But again, this is a test. It's just a test. It's not you and not your clinician, your client sitting in there. Is what did reality therapy say? So now you're between A and B. And the way that we teach is when you get down to those two, you're going to compare the two to each other and go back to the question. He says he wants to repair his marriage, but refuses to communicate with his partner. What would Glasser do? What words belong to reality therapy? If we go back to the terms I used, right? I talked about choice, responsibility. I also talked about the WDEP. Reality therapy says when we're working with the client, we're going to look at what they want, what are they doing, we're going to evaluate the plan, and then we're going to help them come up with the plan. Remember, reality therapy is no different than any other theory. We always come with a treatment plan with the client, never for the client. So when I got down to A and C, reality therapy doesn't talk about communication. I'm going to help him assess if his behavior supports his goal. What does the client want? I hope that helps you understand that question, and I hope it helps you narrow down study material. It's really important that you're studying and learning from the right person and the right stuff, not just trying to memorize. And please, I know there are many, many tutors out there that say take questions all day, every day. I can promise you that I am the only one that's done research in neurotransmitters and how your brain works. I can tell you that the way we teach is based on that neuroscience research. I am a PhD. I am a college professor. I've been in the field for 30 something years, and we are really, really good at what we do. We are not we're not the cheapest one in the company, or we're not the cheapest company, but we are the very best. So when you get tired of taking the test over and over again, when you get tired of buying every piece of material, when you get tired of listening to your friends, we'll still be here. Thanks for being world changers, guys.